Hello, YouTube. Hello, Rumble. With a coffee in my hand, we are going to be recording this a little bit early on December 15th for the CIRF week, starting on the 16th of December, running through the 22nd. And what if I told you we have a full moon in Gemini? Woohoo! But that and the winter solstice, not even those two things are the predominant energies for this week. What we do here is we triangulate. We want to know what the dominant energy is so that you can be out on the lookout for it, know how to handle it. So what we do is we triangulate. And this week we're looking at a triangulation, an overlap of not 3, but 4, because I've included the rave mandala in here. The clashing begins. It's the clashing of ideals. It's been something we've been talking about for so long. We have an upheaval in relationships. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's going to be one way or the other, though, with relationships. And ironically, the answer is going to come back to relationships. So this is a wild CIRF report, and hold on to your seats. But as far as the influence goes, yes, we have a full moon in Gemini. Yes, we have the winter solstice, sun going into Capricorn. That's what it means. It's the lowest point in which the sun is in the sky. So the shortest day of the year. And then the sun's going to go into basically, this is where Bill Donahue comes in. He talked about the 3 days of darkness. He talked about basically the metaphoric crucifixion in the sky. And it's this, the winter solstice, sun goes, basically the sun, S-O-N in the metaphor, gets sacrificed or gets crucified. And then 3 days later rises again. Very metaphoric in astrology. That's according to him. And then we, of course, have the full moon in Gemini. We have that growing Saturn square Uranus. It doesn't go exact yet, but it's getting within 1 degree. So that's where this clash, major part of this clashing is coming from. And then that hidden one, remember we keep talking about Pluto and conjunct with Venus. Oh yeah, they're still together. And so upheaval in relationships, upheaval in peace, beauty, upheaval in finance. And remember that Venus is going to go retrograde and make another pass with Pluto. So this isn't the first. We're going to have a second and a third. So remember all that. Now, what we have here in terms of our diagram, the purple is the astrology. And if we were to paint, right in the middle is where I would put the full moon in Gemini, because it's big. It's a big event. I'd also put the winter solstice somewhere close to the middle. We have our overlap way over on the side, and that's because we have the I-Ching says difficulty at the beginning. And so I immediately think of Pluto because it feels like the ending, but I'm proud of the I-Ching for reminding us that Pluto isn't just the ending, it's also the beginning. So beginning of what? We've already mentioned that. We've been talking about that. So difficulty at the beginning sort of puts us off to the side in close to the darker area. Remember, I used to have that shadow here. Pluto is the subconscious, the dark areas. You don't know that Pluto's in play because it's the subconscious. And then Pluto is a tiny little planet out there, but very, very powerful. Home to the sign of Scorpio. And so there's passion, there's intensity there, even from this little planet. Then the dream bot's got fire and ice. That's an interesting one with a whole lot of human senses. So why is the dream bot hanging outside of the astrology? Well, remember, this is the influence astrology. The human senses is much like Taurus, and Taurus is going to be our solution. So the dream bot primarily is looking at the solution this week because we do the triangulation for the solution as well. So what is this little explosion here? Well, that's the clashing. It's called standstill in the rave mandala. And I believe that this is really pointing to, and now here's the irony. When I got the rave, I did that by plotting the full moon. And when you plot the full moon into our conversion chart, you get basically the line and what's that called? The gate and line for standstill and metamorphosis. So the standstill, I believe, is pointing to the Saturn square Uranus, and so by that very nature, the rubbing, the pressure, like kind of like a clam with or an oyster with a pearl, it's the pressure that's really creating something beautiful. And the metamorphosis is happening, even though it's clashing and it's looking like nothing's happening, like a standstill. So, I don't know if I articulated all that really well, but yes, the full moon is going to be a big influence. Yes, the winter solstice is going to be a big influence, but it's not going to be the predominant influence. And that's unusual because normally that full moon is big enough to dominate not just that day, but the whole week. All right, here we go. Let's talk about, let's get into some comments first. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to snort while the music is playing. All right, well, here's what's new over on Rumble. We almost had the winner of today's comment section over on Rumble. So I'm officially making, if Rumble has more rumbles than YouTube has up arrows, then they'll be the winner. And the close second today, this week, was Tariff. And she says, you have a cap of continuance in your family crest. That's significant. Oh, I think that's pretty cool. She got 4 rumbles or up arrows. So I wanted to show my family crest. It's up here on the window, just right in front of me. I got this. And I think that's the same family crest that link goes to. But anyway, if you want to see it, it's over there. Whoops. Wait. Let's get back to where we were. Shout out to Tariff. Thank you for commenting. Not for me to say, says the I-Ching made me think of the 44th POTUS because he was a master of taking advantage of power differentials and basically everything that it talked about in the Rave Mandala. And I like these connections that you guys are making. It's awesome. And he's finally summarized it by saying they are actors and this is a movie. God, I hope so. It's a crazy movie, and I'd like it to end soon. Milos says, keep on moving over on Rumble. Shout out to Milos. I hope you're staying safe over there and hunkering down. Semp35, shout out, says, have you thought of joining Gab? We certainly could use you over there. And my comment there is that I did try to establish an account over there, and for some reason it's locking me out. Not locking me out, it's just not recognizing my password anymore, and I don't have password problems, but it won't let me back in. I tried to notify them and I haven't had any response back. Of course, I could use a different email, but it's troubling. It's frustrating. So I don't know. I'll consider Gab, but it is busy where I am, and I haven't even gotten over to Instagram and Facebook occasionally. Hello, Facebook. For a few of you who are getting this CIRF report from Facebook, hello. And I do look forward to getting off of the communist networks. Linda Strulo, but says, follows up from last week regarding the Bible quote, the meek shall inherit the earth. Meek means working through the heart center, putting the ego aside. When one operates via the heart, wisdom, compassion, and courage are the operating system. Hence, the truly meek are fully equipped to lead humanity to a love-based civilization. Whoa, that is very well said and put shivers down my spine. That's great. Thanks, Linda. And then the winner of this week's comment with 5 up arrows is Rita. She says, today's my birthday. That was 12/8. Woo woo. We wished her happy birthday over on Telegram as well. And thank you for 3 of the fellow surfers replying to you. Awesome work. I hope you had a great birthday, Rita. All right. Zooming in on the DreamBot. I do have linguistics set number 1, says ice, AT&T, and fire. Now, if you could put the AT&T in there, that's fine, and I know a lot of you will. That's great. And I would just like to offer that the word "and" is nowhere in our DreamBot because it's just so prevalent and common, it's almost useless. But in this case, I'm almost thinking that AT&T, a 3-letter word starting with A, could be "and," representing "and." And so I go ice and fire, fire and ice. And they're 2 quite polar opposite extremes. That's what we have indicated in the astrology, and it's clashing. And normally see these 2 things not going together, and they produce what? A lot of human sensation. So we have human senses in the red, and I have the dotted arrows to like wife and shoulder, sort of like other human attributes, but the rest of the red is senses, human senses. And then here's a strange one, and it's almost the dominant meme in the DreamBot, but it's down lower, and it's searching and finding, spotted, background, adventure, events, found, empty, hidden. So it's like, are things lost or things found? Both. It's like searching and finding. It's that whole continuum there. So that's really interesting, and hopefully we'll weave that in, but no promises. I just thought that was really interesting. All right, let's get into the astrology. Back to our chart in December. Let's darken this up. This is our overview. Remember Venus and Pluto. Venus is going to go retrograde this week. And then on the 25th, we'll meet up with Pluto again. And so tumultuous times for relationships, power and struggle with relationships. This is going to be a power conflict. Now, here's what's cool about Pluto and Venus is that it doesn't necessarily have to be ending and transforming, death and rebirth, although that's indicated. So you got to really watch it. But it also can be passionate, like a rebooting in passion in a relationship, and this very hidden passion where you don't know where it came from kind of stuff. And so it's almost a necessary time to get something like marriage or couples counseling is a good time for that. But don't think of this as a potentially bad time, but don't just let it ride. Like actively work on your relationships during this time, because you don't want the negative side or the scary side of Pluto to manifest. All right. So actively from last week until the 3rd of March and a little bit beyond that is the high time for working on relationships. All right, let's move on. So Mercury is now in Capricorn. We're going to have the sun going into Capricorn, indicating the crucifixion of the sun, going into the shortest days, and then 3 days later rising again. We have Saturn square Uranus going exact on a square just after this week on the 24th, Christmas Eve. There's a lot happening here in the next couple of weeks. Thursday, the 16th, here's our Venus and Pluto together, relational transformation, and it can be super passionate too. And it can be one or the other, depending on what type of relationship that is in context of this in your life, and also what your values are and even what you want. This is just the influence. So navigating to what you want will depend on how well you know the energies and how they present to you, and then how you react. That's the key. The key to the solution this week is in the reaction. A lot of this is going to be handed to you. One is going to be handed. Okay, let me start over. The other one is going to be handed to you from Saturn and Uranus. We're only looking at 1 degree away from a perfect square. And on Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve, it is perfect, which means the clashing is at the climax. The clashing of, this is the way it has to be. You should be doing this for love of country and guilt tripping and stuff, versus I just want to be free. I just want to be independent. And, notice I never talked about this, I don't think, or a long time ago, but a reminder that Uranus is on the other side of where it wants to be. It rules Aquarius, so it's the furthest psychologically away from home because it's squared off, and that energy feels much pressured, much separation, yearns to be back in home, and being, interestingly, controlled by the ancient ruler. The ancient ruler is in Aquarius, used to rule Aquarius. Some people say still do. But then Uranus came along. So those two are at odds right now, and it's almost coming to a climax. This is the clashing. It's the two opposite ideals. Saturn trying to keep things the way things have always been, traditional, and Uranus trying to shake things up and wants different, wants unique, wants individualism. It's collectivism versus individualism, clashing at a high point, plus the passion with relationships, plus the passion and the transformation of how peace is viewed, how beauty is viewed. And these are all correlated together. And then you have, be surprised if anybody's talking about this, Mars over the South Node in Sagittarius. So Mars is busy grappling with the past right now, working out past junk. So all sorts of endings indicated, which sort of confirms if you go to the solution slide with the I-Ching, which we'll get into later, it's the difficulty at the beginning. You can't have the beginning until the end happens. So that's what this feeling is this week, ending. Friday, 17th. I'm trying to remember some other world events that might be happening. I've got another one coming up. But the 17th is Friday, and we have the sun with a sextile over to Jupiter, and that could feel very optimistic, especially for our ego. And remember, the ego, the sun, is in the last stages of Sag, and Sag is where home to Jupiter is. So there's multiple aspects of positivity, optimism in there, even while the clashing is happening. So seek that. You've got to look for that. It's there. The optimism is there. There's this maybe on the outside of your senses, you sensing the world looks horrible, but you get this strange, I don't know, think things are going to be okay, maybe feeling, hopefully. All right, and then we have Mercury in Capricorn at 6 degrees in a trine over to Uranus. So this is changing my mind frequently, unexpectedly. Particularly my goals can change. Now, the benefit there is it's very adaptable. But the problem is it has to be adaptable. So your mind has to be adapting to Uranus. And it's a sensory thing. So again, it's your connection to the world, because we're talking about two earth signs. All right. And then Saturday, here's our Gemini full moon. And man, look at all of the alignments that the moon has. 2 inconjuncts to our transformative powerhouse of Pluto and Venus. And then we have the trine over to Jupiter. So that makes it easily to feel very optimistic, but also this connection to wise mind in the Gemini. So Gemini is all about the rationality, logic, reason, education, sort of your basic education. And it's adaptable, and it's transport, it's short-term travel in there. These are the concerns of Gemini. And the full moon there sort of shakes things up. It's not a Uranus shaking an up thing, but it's kind of like unexpected craziness is what we would expect of a full moon. And in those areas that I just mentioned will seem a little more crazy. Crazy in the schools? Sure. Crazy in the education? Sure. Things that, now, will things seem logical because it's a Gemini full moon? I don't know. But we'll have access to Jupiter, easy access, and it's a very tight, it's only 1 degree. So very easy energy over to Jupiter, which means that there's a luck involved in here. And that's sort of like a Gemini too. Small, adaptable, fun-loving, witty, and we have access to the higher mind. So that sort of makes Gemini a little less sporadic, if you will. Sun in Sagittarius. So the moon is getting that sort of positivity and optimism from 2 of these alignments, the opposition and the trine. And then, of course, adapting to each other. The crazy Gemini full moon is forcing some influence on the changing of your relationship, which these 2 are only a degree away. Venus working on a retrograde here. That's why it's in a reversal mode. So, adaptable, witty, optimistic, crazy full moon with adjustments as relationships transform. This overall, putting all that together, I know it's like, sounds so simplistic, but it's going to feel a little bit crazy with an edge of optimism. All right. Now, here's where Sunday the 19th comes in. And I found this article. MSNBC National Affairs analyst John Heilman claimed on Sunday that there were 30 million right now who are ready to take up arms for the former president. During the Sunday's Meet the Press, Chuck Todd decided to focus on recent Atlantic article that claimed 45's coup has already begun. He found that Heilman was in total agreement with the piece's premise. Basically, he's saying that this represents between 20 and 30 million people who added are ready to take up arms. That's according to mass media. Now, we already know that they're full of agenda. So what's the agenda here? And I can't help but look at this clashing that we keep talking about. Saturn and Uranus. They're 2 indicated here. It's just another fire and ice that we're demonstrating, and it's high time for conflict. They're trying to get a civil war started, and the astrology sort of matches. Ooh, I don't like that. And so it might be that there's enough here, there's enough energy, there's enough conflict to where all they got to do is light the match, and whoosh, can go up in flames. And so, let's concentrate on peace, concentrate on love, just like Linda talked about. It comes from the heart center, and meditate on it, pray on it. It does matter. We can change and we can influence peace into this time of clashing. Closer is Mercury and Uranus in a trine. I want to highlight that Venus now is in that retrograde. It's just a degree away, but it'll take her some time to get over to Pluto again for for a redo if you weren't ready the first time. If your relationship didn't end the first time, maybe it will in this one. No, I don't hope that for anybody, but watch out for that. It's a big, hidden, secret, deep, subconscious influence. So be ready for it. Anyway. All right, Monday, let's move on. Monday the 20th, day before solstice. We have not a lot of squares. Remember, this is a striking difference from all those months prior to this. The whole year of 2021 was the year of squares and T-squares and lots of conflict and pressure. There's only one, but it's really, really tight. It's Uranus and Saturn, but that's it. So when you feel conflict, go look at this for the astrology. It's there's a lot bigger metaphors. There's a lot bigger, like it's the clashing of ideals, not just conflict and pressure. It's the opposites. It's the yin and the yangs that are mashing together right now. All right. And this goes exact, the Mercury trine Uranus. So that's a lot of adaptability, and it's optimistic. Okay. And this one is easy to daydream. I point this one out because there's not much else going on this day. December 20th, the moon makes a trine over to Neptune. So, especially with the pressure getting much more exact and more tense, we have a tendency to daydream. Now is where on Tuesday, the 21st at 9:59 Central Standard Time, the sun will make its way into Capricorn, meaning that we've got 4 planets now in Capricorn at the time of the winter solstice. Look at all these influences, all these alignments on the moon during that time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is emotions all over the place. 2 of these are adapting in conjuncts. 2 of them are balancing the need for. One's an easy energy. That's the Neptune one. So this is the easiest escape route, is to the planet of escape. So escapism, craziness, emotions all over the place, the easy out to Neptune. That's not a good day to think about drug use. But a lot of you will celebrate, and I want you to celebrate the winter solstice. We've got earth signs, 5 in earth signs, meaning that we want more senses to be lit up. That's the dream bot. And with the Taurus solution, will give us that here in a bit. Wednesday, last day of our CIRF. Sorry to say, we've got a T-square. And so this is the 22nd. We've got, I don't know why I've got 12. Oh, we are only 12 minutes in degrees. 12 minutes. That's it from an exact. So it's really getting clashing. And so now, though, the big pressure is on Uranus, and the pressure is for freedom, individuality, eccentric insights. You're trapped in it. You're trapped in the need for freedom. That's what the energy is on this day. And so there you go. What you do with it is up to you. But I think, you know what? Here's another, I'm going to postulate another hypothesis. The people trying to pull the strings to humanity know this. They know this alignment. So they create agendas like this whole 30 million people taking up arms now. I think they know that this is an alignment in astrology, and it's high time for like a clashing, a civil war of sorts, a war. And so they're going to try to create one. Focus on peace. All right, let's get into the I-Ching reading. Difficulty at the beginning. This is the birth of a new adventure or relationship. That is Pluto and Venus Is an entry into the unknown. Absolutely. New things seem to be rushing upon you, and confusion can easily take over. However, chaos is a powerful force when you harness it properly. Challenges lie ahead, but they are challenges you can handle. Gain strength, find courage. The opportunity for rapid development is there. Keep going despite difficulties, and you will find the success that you desire. A key challenge at this time is to maintain clarity. Avoid lunging at solutions. Make yourself wait until a good course of action becomes clear. A careless step in the beginning can cause events to get out of control later. Now we had that bottom line. We had the change line, so I need to read that. It's very applicable to our solution, which makes sense because the lines give us conversion, transition from the first hexagram to the second hexagram. So this makes a lot of sense. The way is blocked for now. It's sort of like a standstill. The way is blocked for now. Remain determined and act sensibly. Do not hesitate. Do not force things either. You have little power over the situation for the time being, but don't give up. With a strong spirit and some humility, you will attract the people and knowledge you need soon enough. We talked about that in the astrology. It's crazy how these overlap. Seek the advice of someone who is more experienced than you. This is a definite continuation from last week, but especially, look at this, holding together. This is the solution now. I-Ching Hexagram 8. Holding together produces success. This is all about teamwork. High-level teamwork is achieved when the right players on the right team share a clear goal at the right time. A team forms its relationship in a delicate manner. Chemistry is brewed in a vat of shared experience. A strong sense of unity and wholehearted commitment is required for team success. Accept the structure of the team if you wish to receive its benefits. Otherwise, go off on your own. In holding together with others, cling to your own principles, but be willing to subordinate personal desires when they compromise the good of the group. Now, it does give you the option in this solution, and we'll talk about this in the solution slide, but it does give the option of going it alone if you find yourself in the wrong group. And how do you know that? Well, the group is behaving and they have values that are different than yours and your really important values. That's when it says that you're warranted to go it alone. But I'll be more specific later. All right, we put our full moon into the conversion chart and we get hexagram 12 and Taurus. Taurus is our sidereal solution. Rave says hexagram 12. What does that mean? It's the gate of caution. This is the gate of social caution, of wariness about the collective. This is one of the three gates of aloneness. So we get into the actual line, and it's line 6 because the moon at the time of the full moon is right here in this line, metamorphosis. Faith in and energy applied towards change and the emergence from standstill. So in this cycle, this full moon cycle, it's indicating that we're going to emerge from two things, from a Pluto conjunct Venus, a change and upheaval and transformation in relationships, and the standstill pressure conflict from Saturn and Uranus. And in this cycle, this 30-day cycle roughly, you're going to see the emergence from the standstill. Creative transcendence that when connected to the harmonic gate 22 through the channel of openness leads to successful mutation and the emergence of a new social form. The capacity to mutate and express new social forms. All right, so let's get into the solution slide. I got to go over here first. I'm working on a new, from Terry, a new option in health. and it's sort of crazy when I say it, and I'm not advertising it yet. I'm still working on it. And if it works, I will be sharing this with you guys. But it's reverse aging. And Terry, I don't know. Angie and I are really looking at my beard because it seems to be turning more blonde from white. But we took some pictures last night, so we're going to compare that in the future pictures. But wow. Yeah, more to follow on that. Hang on to your hats. This is exciting technology. All right. The clashing of ideals. This is what we have this week. It's the fallout of Pluto-Venus, transformation of relationship venture. More challenges lie ahead. Watch out to avoid careless steps. These challenges you can handle. Remember, you don't get challenges if you weren't ready for them. So seek deep. If you feel like it's out of control, seek deep and trust that you don't get challenges that you're not ready for. All right? And challenges are to hone you, sharpen your sword. I-Ching 8 asked us for strong teamwork and a strong leader and accepting its structure. Go all in or go all out, one of the two. Don't just be 1 foot in to a team. Be all in. Rave Mandala says, metamorphosis is just a matter of time. Successful mutation and emergence of a new social form and how we relate to others. It's going to force communities together. It's going to force teams to get together. It's the only other way that it can happen. All right. And then Sidereal Taurus. We'll talk about that. Here we go. Change is indicated. Emergence is indicated. Metamorphosis is indicated. But the big overlapping solution this week is holding it up, holding it together. And Taurus is obstinate. It's AKA hold the line. This week, the standstill ends and well, maybe not this week, but this cycle, this Gemini cycle, this Gemini full moon cycle, means the standstill ends and the metamorphosis starts to emerge. Use the Taurus solution to work on being deliberate, practical, and patient. That's what Taurus is really good for. But also sensing. Remember the dream bot? Use your senses. Sense your way forward. And this sort of harkens back to human design of your inner authority or God. But whatever your higher power is, there's a manifestation in the physical realm of that guidance. That's a personal guidance system by Bill Bennett. And if you go look on interzension.com, I did an interview with him with the personal guidance system. This is intuition based. This is the intuition across the world. And you get the benefit of having senses in your human body to sense your higher power or your intuition, and it never leads you wrong. Okay, so sense your way forward. This is not a go with the flow type of week. Taurus integrity will be essential in teamwork. In the last few months, it's been primarily an individual journey. We are now called upon to join forces and hold the line together. Integrity, morals, values are more vital than even teamwork. So make sure the team, and especially the leader, have the values worth following. The team will also rarely offer you support until after you contribute. Create beneficial karma this week by contributing value to the team. Only then will you benefit from said team. It's better to hold alone than with the wrong team. And we do that, again, with core values. And it's not every single value that you got to look at. You're never going to find a team with that. If you've got 30 different values and one of them is off, well, that's not where we're talking about. The cream of the crop, the highest values, the values that seem to drive this team's behaviors are those commensurate with your highest values. All in all, folks, any way you skin this cat, any way you see this energy manifesting and people reacting to it, it leads to where we go one, we go all. Have a great week, everybody. Stay strong and hold the line. See you next week. And we'll be talking about Christmas soon. See ya. Bye.